I've spent $26,946 on Whiteout Survival in 146 days, and I'm about to put some more numbers on the board tonight. I'm trying to play as what I'm calling an efficient whale, but that doesn't mean I don't spend a lot. Sometimes I end up spending more than I budgeted for, and unfortunately or fortunately, tonight is going to be one of those nights. We just have a bunch of things on the board, and I just need to work it through with you and explain. We've got this 5% top off Frost Star bonus going on, so I took advantage of that. I got news on my tax monies, so I got a little bit more money in the bank, and I'm like, let me just go ahead and do this tonight. Let me just go ahead and do this. I'm going to still try to spend as efficiently as I can, and I'll talk you through that, but I am going to put some points on some boards tonight, and I am going to spend some money because we do have other people in the state pressing power as well, and I'm trying to kind of, I'm trying to play it out a little bit. Like, I don't want to, become irrelevant, but I don't know how much of that power is being pressed is like permanent power or not. I always try to focus on permanent power, but let's get into this. Let's start just walking through some of these things. So I guess first let's start with the events, because we do have Alliance Showdown going on, and we have this is Chief Gear, but my Chief Gear is all maxed. We got Fire Crystals and Speed Ups, and I think the one thing we got I'll do for Speed Ups tonight will be for the Expert skills. And, again, I'm trying to save as much as I can for SVS prep, but we have the whales in the state are pressing power because they need to try to support people. As long as we put up the points that we're expected to for SVS prep when it comes around, then nobody's got anything to say. So if we're going to spend now and spend then and still put points on the board, then we can do it with a clean conscience, basically. So that's shifted to the promise that I'm trying to fulfill. So if we look at the rest of these, we got armament competition as well. So armament competition is, again, Chief Gear, Fire Crystals, Mithril Essence Stones, widgets, and speed ups again. So I can kind of double dip on the speed ups there a little bit. I do want to do a little bit with the gear tonight, though, because that is something I've been trying to focus on, is that infantry gear, and let's see what we can do with that. So I think that's all I have to really show here on the events. Actually, let's clear this little red dot. Might as well get my free shards from Gina. So now let's go. We got a couple things going on tonight. I don't know a better way to do it than to just kind of work through them. So if we go into the main, let's just kind of scan through them first, and then I'll start spending. So in the main section here, we got the Artisan's Trove, which is mostly about Chief Gear. I don't really need to spend on this, and I do have a couple days to decide. So you know what? I'm going to be spending a lot of money tonight anyways. Let's skip that. The Dawn Market. Now, I spent a bunch of time trying to figure out, what is the best value here. And it turns out that if you look at these closely, it's like, if you compare this to the armament chest, it's like you get a mix here of chests and gear components, and it roughly works out to be equivalent, except that you also get the gems here. And the thing is that even though it's equivalent amount of component XP, roughly speaking, you lose an opportunity to get the hero gear chest if you were to spend that same money on the custom armament chest. So you'll actually get, if I recall, you'll get a little bit more. Spending $100 here, you'll get a little bit more component XP, but you don't have as much of a chance of getting the custom or the mythic gear. So this will be like 160. So you'd be on average like 1 or 2 mythic gear, and then if you spend that same money on the here, you'd get 360. So that's like more like 3.6 you'd get out of that on average. So and you get the keys here, but you don't get the gems. So it's kind of like a trade-off depending on what you're looking for. And I'm going to spend a little bit on this, but and the only reason I'm spending some on it tonight is because I really do want to press my hero gear. So, but I'm going to be spending a bunch on some other stuff as well. So here's the thing, because I'm trying to press the hero gear, and this is not a horrible deal when you think about it. So this is, a lot of times you get these only at like something like 2.4 per dollar. This ends up being, 360 for 100. So that's 3.6 per dollar. They call this the best deals. There are better deals in the game, but it's actually hard to get them in quantity. So when you're spending like a whale and trying to be efficient about your spend, it's hard to do that when you need things in bulk, essentially. If you were to just have a trickle all the time, you can be even more efficient. But when you're trying to get items in bulk, then you kind of have to trade some efficiency for opportunity, essentially. And that's what this purchase here is about tonight. It's mainly because I really want to press the hero gear. So I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Dawn Market we have a couple days on. I'll come back here if I need to, but I'm going to be spending a bunch of other money tonight, so I'm going to skip that. The daily deals I'm going to grab, and let's see if we get lucky on the chest. Yes, that's really good luck. And then we'll make these claims and then move on from here. All right. Now, let's look at the deals section. So we have Mia's Fortune Hut, and I did queue this up for fire crystals, but I've been thinking about it, and I mean, I'm going to have to use it for fire crystals right now. But I've been thinking about this. Usually you do press Mia's Fortune Hut for fire crystals. I've got a lot of fire crystals right now, and I'm in a mode right now in the account. Like sometimes your account goes in waves, and I'm in a mode right now where I'm going to need more essence stones sooner than I'm going to need more fire crystals. So I have plenty of fire crystals to get myself through the FC5 upgrade. And then the question is, you know, how am I going to get the more of the essence stones? And there, you know, this is one of the ways you can get them efficiently. So I'm going to buy this up to 50. Basically, I want to be able to max out the rewards on Mia's. So I'm going to buy this up to the $50 mark, and then we'll see how lucky I get from there. Probably tomorrow, and by tomorrow, because it's only 2 days. So, and let's see, did I get all my rewards? I think I did. The daily missions, yeah, I think I did that already. So, just come back in here, and we'll basically let's see, you know, how lucky I can get in Mia's. The strategy here is just to basically play until you. Okay, let's see. Until you get them all, because that's been tested to be the best strategy. And not till you get them all, till you get your reward. And let's see. And now I'm going to switch. Can I switch? Continue the current round. No. Reset. Here we go. I want to reset. So I'm going to switch to the essence stones so that I can try to get some more essence stones out of this event. Because that's what I'm lacking right now. That's what I need on the account. And apparently, according to a bunch of simulations, the reason why... Oh, I got a 1 in 3 chance of getting... Wow, the very last one. But the strategy is you just keep on going to until you get your prize. All right, let's see if I can get a 3x or 2x. Wow. Well, that's not horrible luck. That was 2x essence stones at least, even though I had to go the full board. But the strategy is basically you make sure that you have at least 96 of the tickets so that you can clear the board. If you don't have 96 tickets, you might as well wait until the next event, because if you can't clear the board, you're going to waste those tickets for nothing. All right. And sometimes you'll get lucky like that, and sometimes you won't. So it looks like my luck is actually doing pretty good so far. Clear those out. Hey. Well, would have been nicer to have that one, but I'll take it. No. Wow. Gotta go the full board. Come on. Be nice, Mia. Really? Almost the full board. I think my luck has been okay on overall, though. Because I did get a couple that I got lucky on. All right, like that one. All right, and now it's quite a ways to get to that last 750 bonus. But it looks like we're well on our way to get there by tomorrow. Not on the resources. All right, come on. No. All right. Maybe I should just pick those ones all the time. The ones on the right. No, not this time. How about the left? No. Figures. All right. Looks like we got one more shot, depending on how lucky I get here. Damn. All right, we got one more day on Mia's, and then we'll see how that worked out, but... Oh! Well, that's not what I want to do. What I really want to do is see how many I have now. So that did put quite a few more Essence Stones in the bank. I did buy, what was it, 320 yesterday, but still, that put a lot of Essence Stones back in the bank. So I'm happy with that choice because that's what I need out of Mia's right now. And like I said, the account goes in waves. And look, I'm already at 701 out of 750, so I really don't even need to go to $50 tomorrow, I don't think. No, I know I don't need to go to $50 tomorrow. Let's grab the monthly Intel card again. And then I'll grab it here as well, because I think that is a good value. And this is where, that's why I'm putting a lot of fire crystals in the bank from all these little side deals that just keep accumulating. And then clear this out, take the Journey Treasures claim, sign in an Earn It claim, and then Deadshot, and do my gems. And that's the deal section. That's all we have for the deal section. Now I've got a little special pop-up pack for experts. I'm going to cover that last. Let's take a look at the Silver Frost shop. Now this, at first I thought this was just kind of like a money grab event because there's no event to it. It's just like buy the shells and get the things, right? Buy the silver shells and get the things you want. And I did a little math on this, and at the, basically if you add up all of the shells you get from across all the deals, if you were to buy it all the way up to $100, then they would cost you about 10.4 per dollar, the shells. So you would get about 10.4 shells per dollar, if I recall the math right. So that means that the city skin here for 3,000 would cost you about $288.46. The mithril is running for $3.85. So that's a pretty good deal on mithril. And if you do the math on the rest of them, they're actually all pretty decent deals as things go for this game. So, you know, even the, you know, the Essence Stones and Fire Crystals there ends up being a little bit more than 10 per dollar, which is a pretty good deal. And if you go through the rest of them, it all is pretty good like that. The only problem is you have these city skins in here. They have some cool city skins. I think I want to grab this one here. And it is a cosmetic to some degree, and you do get, you know, the troops attack with it as well. There are some cool marches in here as well. That would be cool to have along with it, right? Like this guy here would go nice with that one. And you do get the hunting march speed on that, which is nice on Beast Day. And it's just a cosmetic. So ultimately, does that help grow power? I mean, power per dollar? Not really. But as far as playing as a whale and trying to get some of this stuff and have a competitive edge, it's almost become necessity. I mean, I've gone back and forth with folks in the community on this, and this is the problem. Trying to focus purely on efficiency, you're going to have this problem. You won't be an effective whale. But if you go, so basically I'm trying to you know, walk that line carefully. I'm trying to be as efficient as I can while still being a whale. That's a tough line to walk, actually. But here we go. If you look through, make the claims for all the daily missions I did. So if you look, oh, and then I'm going to unlock the extras. So I get the extras. And I still got to do the troop promotion. And we'll just claim all these. So, but if you look at the deals here on how you get the shells, you know, effectively you can get up to 1960 of them per day if you buy this out. And it's going on for 4 days. So I'm definitely going to do some buying here. I definitely want to make sure I get the mithril. You know, essentially, I think if I buy up to the $50 mark, that'd be a good compromise here, because everything in here is actually a decent value. And I do have a bunch of silver shells left over from other events. The problem is, if I wanted to max this out and get all the way to 5,000 here, I'd have to buy the whole shop out every day for all 5 days. And then if I did my math right, at $50. I think, well, maybe I didn't do my math right because I didn't count the extras you get here from the doubles and stuff. Yeah, the _2 here. So we get a little bit more there. So maybe you'd be at 2,000. So maybe I could get away with it just going to $50 mark. But that's what I'm going to do anyways. I'm just going to buy to the $50 mark. And then from there, on the last day, if I need more, I'll make a decision. I'll make a judgment call. And the main reason I'm doing this is for two reasons. I do want that city skin, but also before I get tempted by anything else, I want to buy out the mithril because that's a good deal on the mithril. And I did use up pretty much all my mithril. And then we'll see, this is a daily limit of 1, so I'll grab that as well because I'm low on that. And these fire crystals I'll grab as well because that's a good deal. And then the rest I'm going to kind of save up and bank, and, you know, I'll do some of the daily stuff. I'll grab these. And then we'll see where things go with this. But essentially, I think what I'm going to do, the 2 luxury items I want, I don't like this teleport scan for some reason. I don't know if you like it. Nothing against you, but like I just don't seem to like it. And same with this thunder summon. Like it's okay, but I like the one that I have, the thunder snow, and that's good enough for me. They are, like, again, they do have some buffs to them, but the thing I think would be cool to have is this ship and this wind changer march. And I do find that I'm becoming a bit of a march collector, maybe not so much a city collector, and I could see myself becoming a bit of a teleport skin collector, but I really, for some reason, I do like, even though it's not the best stats, I like collecting the marches. So, all right, that's all we have for this Dream Miracle. It's basically just, it is a bit of a money grab, but that is kind of what it is. Let's take a look at this. So I got this by advancing Romulus while we still had some points to do on Romulus. And I did it, as I said I was doing. I'm not hiding anything. One of the comments said, "Oh, you're doing the stuff off camera." Yes, I play the game off camera, believe it or not. So I try, when I do that, and there's certain things that are kind of opportunistic or in the moment, I try to give an update on that so I'm not leaving the audience out. But I did this with Romulus yesterday, and when I left the screen, I got this pop-up pack. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the better pop-up packs I've seen in the game. Look at that, 200 sigils and 100 for Romulus and 100 expert sigils that are just generic, and then a whole bunch of books of knowledge and gifts. I mean, I'm buying this. This is a great deal. And the only question is really, how soon am I going to use that? Because, I feel like as long as I'm doing this stuff and still putting points up for SVS, I'm fine. But look at this. I've got this training going on. And I really would like to advance Romulus because, his as he goes up, his army expedition size goes up. So the deployment capacity goes up. And that's big for the game, and it's a good source of power as well. So I'm going to do this. Actually, I'm going to do the speed up tonight. The problem is I got to kind of wait. If I want to wait to do his advancement, because that's going to use sigils, and I don't think there's anything tonight that will use sigils, so I should probably wait to use sigils until I get an event to use the sigils. It's really tempting, though, because, like I said, there's only so many things I can do to press power now, and waiting for SVS is getting a little bit daunting. So I could use it. I could do the learning speed ups here, and I may do this just to kind of get some more stuff queued up and ready to go when I do advance him eventually. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this one. This is going to be one that if I do it, I do it off camera, not because I'm trying to hide anything, because I really need to go away and think about this a little bit. Because, I do need to put some power up. I need to continue that progression. And, it's a matter of, do I really want to wait for SVS prep for all this stuff if I'm spending anyways? And my inclination right now is to wait at least maybe for a, KOI event or something where I can get some points on the board for it. And that's kind of what my inclination is right now. But I do need to put some points up for, Alliance Showdown. And I don't have any Chief Gear to do. So I think I really need to do, we'll have to do, I think probably it makes sense to do that speed up at least. I could do a bunch with gems though. That'll get me on the board. So that would take that excuse away. And here, no gems. So here I would need to do let's see what we're going to end up doing with the hero gear. If I do end up using essence stones, but I can't trigger the pop-up pack again until I wait another day. Well, I'd have to wait until whatever time it was at the last one I did. So let's at least do the hero gear stuff that I wanted to do tonight. And that starts with going in the backpack. Let's clear some of this out first. Let's see if I get lucky on the fire crystal chest. Usually, let's see. My prediction is I'll get 15 or 20 on this. That would be, the average luck. Well, 25. All right, a little bit better than average luck. And here, I 10 or 5 is what you're going to get. But if I get anything more than that, you got a little bit lucky. Yeah, 5. Okay. And now we take a look at. Let's clear this out. Clear these out. And 375. I'm just going to go ahead and do them all. This should give me about 3 or 4 mythic pieces on average. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's better than average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. All right. So with that done, let's see how much XP components I got to put into this gear here, because it takes a lot. That's it. Only got it to 97 based on that. So I need about, let's see, 10, 20, let's see, 97, 98. Oh, 98. Yeah, because this will go, I'm already on 97. So 98, 99. I need at least 20,000 more XP components to get that to 99. Let's see. I said I would wait on some of this, but if we go, this is all bought out. So if we go to Dawn Market, and the advantage here is that these packs do come with quite a bit of XP. So if I were to buy the $50 one, that would be my 20,000 plus some chests. So let's grab that. That purchase is more about something you need in the moment. It's because you just wrong. No mythic. That means I'm queued up for the pity reward. All right, and that should be enough to get me to 99 tonight. There we go. And then I'm powering this up to, I need 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, man. Well, what's the best way? Let's see. Let's check the backpack and see if I got anything. Do I have a custom? Yes. I don't care what. Just grab me one. Avoided spending a little bit more tonight.
You do
and
notice.
Just because I want to get this to 100 tonight. That was the goal. And it's only taken 50 mithril for this one, so it's not too crazy. And I did just spend a lot on getting some mithril, so not as much as I'm spending, but like I said, watch my points on SVS and then judge me then. Here we go. All right, so we got the infantry gear to 100. Nice. And that's it. That's all you can go, right? I think that's it. I don't know why they still show you enhance. So that's nice. Good account milestone right there. Got Geronimo's gloves, gauntlets to plus 100. And that means he gets that sweet 50% infantry defense bonus there. So that's very nice, very, very nice. And then I don't know what I'm going to focus on next, but it's probably going to be the, I don't know, the goggles and the boots to get that attack up. So maybe the boots first and then the goggles. I don't know. These are both kind of, the goggles have to go all the way to 100 before they really give you what you need for expedition. And the boots will give you the, you know, the plus 60 attack basically at the plus 60. So I think I'll go with this first. And I'll just sit it there at plus 25 for now. And of course, just continue that account progression. So with that done, I just want to make sure that I do have enough in the tank when it comes for SVS prep time. So I'm going to kind of hold off on a bunch of other upgrades. It is getting a little tempting because, like I said, there's other people in the state pressing power, and I don't want to become, you know, irrelevant essentially. But it also means that I'm going to have to kind of try to slow down and do the right thing. Now, like I did tonight, there's going to be some things I do just for because I'm a content creator and have certain goals. But if we look at armament competition now, that probably, yeah, put me at the top of the list there. For now anyways. If we look at Alliance Showdown, I still need to put some points on the board for this. So it looks like it's going to have to end up being speed ups and gems. And what I'm going to do for gems, you know, might as well just do that now. Because what I'm going to end up doing for gems is a couple things. I am going to need some more stamina, so I'll get some stamina. Just a little bit for now. And then I'm going to need more common wild marks. And between those two right there, I'm almost, you know, I got some other things for the escort and stuff like that. I'll grab some more common wild marks. And then, yeah, I think the VIP shop is all bought. I just bought it to get gem points on the board, essentially. And then I guess I'll do another 150 of these or so. Yeah, and that alone cleared me for the Alliance Showdown basic points. So, you know, I don't have to go crazy with other stuff right now. And kind of have a clean conscience. I do have some things I need to press, though. I really do need to think about what to do with the experts and what to do with my hero gear so that I can make sure I'm continuing to accumulate while also progressing my account. So this is the challenge right now. If you have any advice for me, I'd love to hear it in the comments because I'm at a crossroads right now. Do I continue to press power and then keep spending for SVS, or do I hold back? You know, here's what things are starting to look like in the state. Again, it's hard to tell, you know, who's got what type of power. We can look to some degree in Labyrinth and see, or, you know, we look at like hero power and see how things are going. And we can look at, you know, not Island Prosperity, the total power, and we can get a kind of indication of how things are going. You know, especially Labyrinth, we can get an indication of how things are going. I didn't play my Labyrinth tonight, but, you know, like I said, as you can see, the state is continuing to progress. So where do I want to sit in there? Do I want to take a back seat and let it all happen? Is that okay? Maybe it is. I mean, there comes a point where, you know, if somebody can outspend me, it is what it is. I can't compete with this financial arms race too much further. But also, should I be holding back or spending now or waiting for SVS? I'd be interested to hear, especially I want to hear from the whales in the crowd who have kind of dealt with this before. What would you do in this situation? Would you continue to press now and then just keep pressing to SVS? Or would you kind of hold back and save everything for SVS? Because we do have, I think, King of Icefields is going to be coming up as well soon. And I know I don't like worrying about these side events too much, but I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, ooh, if I don't kind of maintain my relevancy, then, you know, what does that mean? You know, am I okay with that? All right, sorry for rambling, but let's just take a look at VIP. I'm not going to do a lot about other stuff on the account tonight because I've been talking a lot tonight already, and I have something to go do with my wife. So here's what my VIP points are looking like after that little press there. 259,000. That's going to go up a lot more this week because there's going to be a whole bunch of spending. But if you like hearing the dilemmas of a whale, of a growing whale, and somebody who's learning, the game and seeing how they're trying to spend efficiently and deal with all this stuff, there's some politics I talk about sometimes. There's game dynamics I talk about sometimes, and the spending and efficiency stuff. I just kind of ramble about all these things all the time because I'm trying to learn the game and learn my way in this space. And if you like following that journey and you want to continue to see how things go, whether it's the spending or my personal growth or my growth in the game and as a player, you got to help me out by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and then turning on notifications. That way you'll be the first to know about it as soon as I post anything. Thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you later.